playing, but at the same time, knowing, understanding, what may be called, what probably won't be called, and doing what you have to do to get around that. But I think we'll be just fine. I'll be fine. And, just excited to get back out there on the floor.
Who's the most dangerous guy? Oh, go ahead.
What are the challenges for the bigs in this matchup? Last one against Portland, you guys had the size advantage. This one, it's more elevated.
The challenge is obviously to keep Rudy Gobert off the offensive glass. Definitely want to try to exploit him on the defensive end, and some of the things in the areas that he's maybe not so great at. Obviously, when you get into the rim and, he changes the game, but if you can pull him away from the basket, then that kind of changes things and makes it a little bit more challenging on him. So, trying to do some of that. Understanding how good he is at putting pressure on the rim when he's rolling to the basket. Always trying to keep a body in between him and the rim and not give up those lob dunks. Take away the easy drop-off passes to him. And then also just compete. I think that's what it's going to boil down to at the end of the day, whether it's, him on the defensive end and a big going up against him, or him on the offensive end and trying to keep him off the glass, or, take the easy stuff away, just compete.
Will you ever attack him?
I think you always have to attack, I was always taught you got a shot block, you go right through his chest, so you definitely got to attack him and just live with the result.
Who is the most dangerous guy on this Utah team in your mind?
They're dangerous. There's not one specific guy. Obviously, Gordon Hayward is their leading scorer, and, a huge playmaker for them. But there's not one guy where you say, oh, man, Gordon Hayward have a bad game, that team still can't be good. Or, Rudy Gobert, he played 10 minutes last game or something like that? And not.
That's a strange thing about him, because usually you don't know who to stop.
It's a group effort. It's about trying to shut them down, not him, whoever that him is. They use each other very well. They move the ball extremely well. They're always driving and kicking. They're never panicking when the shot clock running down. They'll make one or two more extra passes, with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. So, I don't look at one guy and say, there's teams in this league where you say if you stop this one guy, you win the game.
Right, exactly.
They're not that team.
Were you surprised at all about the way that series went?
I thought it would go 6 or 7. I wasn't really surprised at how it went.
Well, an unusual week for you. You said it. You don't normally get a week off, but then you didn't know which team you were going to play. So what were you guys emphasizing in practice?
Just us. Our basic keys on the defensive end. Being sharp on the offensive end and executing our plays, making sure you stay in shape, making sure everything you do stays tight. It's really all you can do. Just really focus on us. And now we know who we're playing, and today was really focused on him. And so that was good for us.
I realized the first half of last year we used to not playing without Steve. But is it awkward at all in the playoffs for him not to be here? You find yourself wondering if Wayne will come back?
No, I think the way we look at it is just plan on him not to come back. That's the way we're approaching this thing. Is we're not going to sit and say, oh man, if we can get to the conference finals, Steve may be back for the conference finals, or if we can get to the finals. Mike Brown is our coach. We have the rest of our staff, and that's what we're rolling with. We're going to hope and pray that Steve gets better and can get back, but at the end of the day, his health is more important than anything. And so we're here in support of him. We know how bad he wants to be here and how bad we would love for him to be here. But at the end of the day, he needs to take care of what he has to take care of. And whether that's this year, next year he's back, then, we're ready. But we're going to approach this entire thing as Steve isn't coming back. And that's our approach to this entire playoffs until we hear otherwise. We hear otherwise, I think it's a lot easier to adjust to, oh, Steve's back on the bench, as opposed to trying to play with your mental and say, oh man, when is Steve coming back? Is he coming back? It's just too much. So just focus on what we have here. It's just like a player going down. One guy go down, another guy has to step up. And that's what you roll with. You adjust to whoever that guy is that gets added into the lineup, and then you play. It's the same thing with our coaching staff.
He was obviously involved behind the scenes when Luke was coaching. Is he as involved now, or is he busy
I
with
mean, obviously we know that he's involved behind the scenes. We don't really do too much behind the scenes with the coaching staff. That's kind of their job. So to say, we know how much he's involved now, you can still tell the way things are going and, the way practices are going and meetings, that he still has his imprint on it, everything. So I think he's still involved. I don't know how much. I couldn't tell you.
You've worked with Mike Brown on that court a lot this year that I've seen. Are there some things about him that you learned being around him?
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Mike Brown's history of the NBA is number one. I'll put him up there with just about anyone. Over the course of the last 40 years, he pretty. But then also the game. Whether it's little things offensively, whether it's little things defensively, that which he's extremely good at. Just trying to pick up different things from him. Situations that he's been in, players that he's coached, different things like that. But definitely learned a lot from him.
He proposed, at the very beginning to Steve, let's keep 2 starters on the court the entire game if we possibly can. I mean, those rotations have seemed to work pretty well.
Absolutely. I think that was one of the best proposals, I've heard around here. Just to always have 2 guys out there. I think it keeps the flow better. When you got 5 guys coming off the bench on the floor at the same time, everybody's trying to find that rhythm. If you got 2 guys who's already in the rhythm, I think it's easier for those other 3 to find that rhythm. So I think that was great. I think it's been amazing for us to have that, in play.
Hayward had a pretty good series against the Clippers. He struggled a little bit against you guys the last couple of years. What's the key to slowing him down?
You just got to try to make him take tough shots, not give up the easy stuff. He's a great player. He's continued to get better over the course of the years. Better shooter, better ball handler, better finisher. But you just try to make him take tough shots just like anyone else. Any good offensive player you play against, you can't guarantee that you're going to stop him, but you can say to yourself, I'm going to make every shot he takes tough, and you got to live with those results.
What does Joe Johnson add to them that maybe they didn't have before?
Man, just a guy who can go get a bucket. I think that's important in the playoffs to have that guy who just, stuff is breaking down, get him the ball, he can go get us a bucket. And he's been that for them. And, he's very important in trying to stop in this series.
End-game situations with him, how wary might you be there?
Just got to man up and try to get a stop, try to make him take a tough shot, live with the results. But hopefully we're not in that position.
What do you think of Salt Lake City as an NBA city? It's kind of unique in some ways, right?
Yeah, I don't really do much, but I think their fans are amazing. They're always sold out. They're very loud. But usually when the way it's the NBA schedule set up, with us, we're usually not there more than the night. So I don't really know much about it.
For the past regular season, people have been discussing about you and Rudy, like who's the better defender of the year. So do you have that mentality, like I want to show you like how I?
No, I want to show you we can win this series. That's my only goal. Defense player of the year don't matter when you're trying to get a championship. So I don't know, maybe that's his goal. Mine is to win.